what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back, everybody. Today we're working on our video editor, and the goal for today is to try to work with longer videos. So, for context, this is our video editor. What we have right now is we have this thing where we can like scrub around this timeline, we can come in here, we can like create some clips. If we play these clips back, it'll like jump between them. Great. And kind of like the novel feature that we're trying to work with is if I drag around on this script that's auto-generated on the right, I should be able to go to like the correct spots in the timeline. So if I click over here, I should see here something that's close to around Pacific time on Twitch. Around 2 o'clock Pacific time on Twitch. Not bad, right? It's not perfect, but it's not awful. Sorry, I don't actually know if you guys could hear that. It was kind of quiet. Hold on, let's try it again. Around 2 o'clock Pacific time on Twitch. Yeah, so it's audible. It works. So what we're working today, what we want to look at today is trying to make this work for a long video. So this is a 20-second clip, and right now our initialization is kind of set up so that it does all the script generation up front, which means that it blocks the program from starting for like 3 seconds for a 20-second video. Let's see. Like if I just open this one, it's like 1, 2, 3. Right? That's not great, and that's only 20 seconds. If we try to launch on something that's like way longer, then it just like I've never made it happen because it's just I'm not gonna wait that long. I'm too lazy. And so I want to look at we need to like kind of generate the script in a thread and have it like populate as it goes. So if we open up something like this and I type skip, I can't remember the whole command. Hold on, wait one second. Skip subtitles. We can see that like this audio waveform is kind of like in the same state where over time it's generating and we just like let it load and show it in the UI as it goes. I want to do the same thing with the script on the right. That's step one. Step two is that right now if I try to close this window while this audio thread is like generating stuff, just nothing happens. Because the audio, we're like waiting for the audio thread to shut down and it doesn't shut down until it gets to the end. So we need to fix that because with script generation, it's going to take even longer. And then we need to like cache the generated script because if it takes a long time, then we need to make sure that like if we do that thing once, then we need to reuse it because I don't want to like say I'm working on this video, I open the editor, I go do something else, I come back, I have to wait like an hour for the script to generate again. That's stupid. So if we've done it once, we should write it down somewhere, look it back up later. And if we close the file before it's finished generating, we should also resume from where it stopped. So those are kind of like two levels of like save, caching, whatever. I'm worried about the GUI performance. I don't really know how long, I don't know how many words I say in 2 hours, right? So if it's a lot of words and we're rendering all of those words every single frame on the GUI, maybe that will slow down. So we have to look at that, maybe see it, like do some like caching of the layout and stuff like that. And then I think that with all of this, if we start like caching the script, what if I decide that I want to use a different model, or the code around that kind of changes? Then we need to have a button to fix that. And then I forgot I also wanted to, if we get through all that, which is a big if, I wanted to add line breaks to the script, because it's kind of rough. Oh, sorry, it's not with skip subtitles. Hold on. Short VOD. I was like dog fooding a little bit, and looking at this, trying to like look at like a minute long of this was already like I can't really find where I want to find in the text. If we like right here where there's a bunch of dead space, add some new lines in here, then it should be a lot easier to skim, I hope. So that's the plan for the day. We'll see how far we get, but we're just working towards making it usable. Yeah. Performance of the layout or rendering. I would worry most about layout because text layout, you need to walk through everything linearly, like every character linearly, because like each character has like variable width and stuff. So if you just lay out one time, re-rendering should be relatively cheap, especially because you can calculate where within the text you are and only render that section. So the rendering will be pretty cheap. I'm more worried about like the layout. Yeah, okay. Let's jump in. Let's generate the script in a thread. So I think where it is right now is in main. Hold on. There's a bunch of like third-party dependencies that were showing up when I tried to edit files, and I didn't want them there. So I think that got rid of it. Okay, so I think in main, we have this like word timestamp generator. and we create it here in it. And in here, we do all of the work of saying like, okay, I'm gonna like sample some audio data, and I'm going to feed it into our like whisper thing, and then I'm gonna like take that sample and spit it out somewhere. And so I guess step one is just like make a thread to do that thing. So I guess we got to think about a little bit, what's going to happen with this data. So presumably we're going to push it over to the GUI as it goes. So we're gonna have something like Rust GUI. We're gonna have Zig app, and then we'll have like I guess we should put Zig app a little farther to the right. We'll have like our init thread and Zig app thread. All of these guys are working on different threads. So I guess kind of like over time, he's just going to be like sending updates over here. Or maybe the Zig app will poll. He's just going to be like ripping through text every time he runs Whisper. I guess when he finishes running Whisper, he'll lock a mutex and like dump a bunch of like updated state into the text mapping. Zig app will have to poll this guy every once in a while. He'll be like, current state. And then he will, I guess, feed that back over here. Then when the Rust GUI asks for current state, we can feed that back over. And so I guess it's just like, we're going to need everything that this guy currently has. These like segments and text. I guess this is just going to become like kind of like shared data. Is there a VOD for yesterday? No, there is not. I did off-screen progress because I was hungover and I didn't want to stream. But the progress from yesterday is pretty minimal. Yesterday, all we did was resample the audio down to 16,000 hertz. And that was like actually turned out to be really, really straightforward. It's like, what, 15 lines of code or something? So not too much, just a little bit of cleanup. Okay. So in here, we're going to have some sort of mutex. Stood thread mutex. I guess maybe we'll alias it. Okay. And this is going to be a mutex. Oh, you guys know? Do you guys ever get that where like, your throat gets like itchy? I didn't eat anything that I'm allergic to, but just like sometimes it's like, I think it's like depends on the weather. I just get like itchy back there. It's like, ugh, I'm trying to like make like weird faces, like to try to like scratch the back of my throat with my tongue. But man, that's fucking annoying. Super annoying. But we'll live. Okay, so we're gonna have some sort of like shared data. And I guess he's gonna have to live somewhere. I guess he will live in this struct. And the init thread, sorry. No, sneeze? No? Okay, no sneeze. It was close though. We almost had it. This shared data will be accessed by the init thread, but maybe it won't actually live in the init thread. And what we'll do is we'll just make sure that on shutdown, we will join the thread before we destruct this guy, and then this should be valid for the lifetime of the thread. So we shouldn't get any like invalid memory accesses or anything. Use after free, etc., etc. So I want to look at like Zig documentation. And I can't remember how to spawn a thread. I cannot remember. There's like some handle that comes out when you make a thread. Stood thread join. So I guess I just get like the thread itself. So we'll say init thread is a thread. And this becomes a thread mutex. Okay. This has to be capital T. Okay. And okay, we're chilling. So the init thread is going to do whatever we were doing over there. So I guess what we'll do is I kind of like making like a structure for these things usually. I'm trying to decide if I need that. I think I don't. I think it'll just be a free function. Function init thread. I've lived about my whole life with that throat itch. Turns out it's allergies. Goes with pills and spray. Yeah, I've got like pretty bad, like I don't know what it's called. In spring, the grass just like fucks me, man. It gets really bad. And then instead of like dealing with the problem, I just have a worse life forever. when I could just go to the doctor like everyone else in my family did and get a solution, I could just, I just live a worse life. Isn't that good? That seems like a better solution to me. Okay, so in this init thread, we are going to do whatever we're doing over here. So, on init, we have like our segments and our text that we're generating. These things will live in our thread still. So this is going to be becoming like shared data. So let's make our shared data, I guess. Shared is equal to shared. And he's going to have segments is equal to segments. And text is equal to text. And then I guess we will spawn our thread. So we will say like thread spawn with an empty config, and we're going to run init thread. And we have to pass in the args. At the very least, we're going to have to pass in the shared data. At the very least. But we're going to pass it in as a pointer. Oh, this gets a little tricky, though, because if we pass it in as a pointer, it's going to be like point at this thing on the stack. But this thing on the stack is going to move as soon as this init function finishes. So really, we have to allocate this shared thing to give it a stable memory location. What is it called? Create in this language. Which kind of means that here, oopsies, try. Here, wherever we say that we have one of these guys, we're just going to store a pointer to him instead. And then on dinit, we have to say self alloc destroy self shared like this. Self text goes away. Self segments goes away actually. And they kind of become in shared. So this is going to become more like we're going to have some dinit on this guy, and he's going to free self alloc free text. Maybe we'll pass in the allocator here so we don't have to stash him twice. And then he's going to have to get rid of the segments as well. Segments, self segments, dinit. There we go. There we go. I just started using Neovim recently, and now I wonder how we refactor stuff. What do you, like, I don't really know. Are you asking, like, if they have, like, refactoring tools? I just use cut and paste. But maybe that's stupid. Okay, so we did the shared stuff, then we destroy it, free it, blah, blah, blah. And then before we do any of that, though, we have to join the thread. So self init thread join. And eventually we're going to have to find some way to communicate with the init thread. But for now, we don't have to worry about it. For now, we don't have to worry. Okay, so we spawn this init thread with the shared data, which means that we have to take in the shared data. Hey, I just started learning Rust. Would be your way of learning it. I just started making simple projects. Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, that is the way. You just have to use it, and then eventually you'll get a feel for it. I don't know. I think it's not much more complicated than that. Not much more complicated. I think the thread spawn can fail, so it's probably something like const init thread is equal to try this. Local constant shadows init thread. Oh, because init thread should be camel case because it's a function. Init thread, like this. Okay. And then kind of most of the stuff that's in here now should go over there. So sampler, this goes over there, this goes over there, this goes over there. Boom, boom, boom. I guess the decoder initializer also goes over there, which kind of means that this guy needs to take in a path as well. Like this. Yup. Yup. And he needs to take in the allocator as well, I guess. So let's do allocator path then shared. I like that order better. For no real reason, just it feels right to me. Feels right. Which means that when we construct this guy, he needs to pass in the allocator and the path as well. Yeah. Nothing crazy there. Nothing crazy. Okay, this whisper run, all this whisper stuff gets done over on that side. Boom, boom. And then all we have to do is make sure that whenever we're like updating stuff, we lock the mutex. So maybe, how does this make most sense? We will make sure we like have like as little mutex contention as possible. So I wonder, like, we could do this two ways. One is that every time we push data, we lock mutex. Or we could like work locally and update in chunks. And it depends, like this one would have like less mutex contention, but kind of like more cost on this thread. This one would have like more mutex contention, but maybe the mutex contention is like not a big deal at all, right? I guess we start here and see if it feels bad, and if it feels bad, then we come back. Well, I guess the problem there is that this stuff is like pretty cheap, right? Like, so running Whisper, this, expensive. This, cheap. Oh, okay, so there's actually no problem. All we have to do is lock the mutex here. Yeah. So shared mutex lock, defer shared mutex unlock. Yep. And then here we just say shared text, shared segments, shared text. Yeah. Okay. And then we have to do the same thing down here when we handle the last case. But other than that, maybe that's it. Just kind of nice and simple. Nice and simple. Okay. So now what? Won't the mutex unlock only when the whole function is done? No, it's in this scope. So it's in this if statement. So the defer, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if I'm wrong about this, I've been writing some shit zig. But I'm pretty sure that the defer runs at the end of the block. So it should end here, which is exactly where I want. Because, like, this is in, like, we're doing it every step of, like, running Whisper, I guess. So this will lock it for this while loop, which is just, like, slapping a lot of samples into the vectors. But that should be pretty short. That should be a short lock, I think. We'll find out. Okay, so now over here, we need to stash our init thread and shared equals shared. I didn't know that I was under the function. It was after the function. I didn't know that I was under the impression it gets called after the function. It's crazy because I would never have thought that based off the languages I've used. I wonder if that's like some JavaScript shit where because when you use var, it's at like a function scope instead of block scope. Because I've literally never seen that in any language than JavaScript. Oh, goes to the end of the function. That's crazy. Oh, whoa, that's wild. Okay, that makes me let go a lot less. I didn't know that. I've never tried it, but that's insane. What's the point of defer? Like just write the free at the end. It's useful for like just locality of ideas, right? So one is like, say I were to like return early here, right? Then this like mutex doesn't get unlocked, and I have to remember to unlock it at every single point where I could like break out of the current scope. And then the other one is that like it's just nice to be like, okay, so I allocated this thing and I have to free it later. So the fact that those two things are right next to each other and you know they're right next to each other is important. And the ordering of things becomes like kind of enforced that way, right? You can't accidentally do things in the opposite direction. Like if I had like, you know, alloc thing 1 and then alloc thing 2 with thing 1, if I put the defer free here, I can't accidentally do it in the backwards order, because then I do defer free 2 here, and this runs in like backwards order, where like if I were to accidentally do it at the end and do these in like free 1, free 2, all of a sudden 2 is using 1 while it's still invalid, you know? So just like having the defer blocks makes it like simpler. You'll see this pattern even in C a lot, where people will put go-tos. They'll put like labels at the end of functions and then go to the thing at the end of the function to say like go to cleanup, because it's just like it's so much easier to track that way. Much easier. Okay. So I think there's actually probably nothing else really to do here except for fix the compiler errors, because now when we build, since we moved everything into like that shared member variable, everybody who was trying to access before won't work. Like at 274, for example. Oh, wait, this isn't even where it's broken. What the fuck? Expected type const found array list. Oh, right, because we were stashing the, before we were working with, a const because we were like, this text will never change, it will never change length, so we can just allocate once, but now it will change length over time, so this has to become an array list of U8s, like this. What else doesn't work? Missing struct field mutex makes sense. It's a hard life out here. What else? What else? What else? What else? Unable to evaluate comp time expression. Wait, what? Why is this comp time? Oh, I'm an idiot. It's because this isn't how you initialize stuff in this language. You do it like this. There we go. There we go. Okay. Self-shared init is expecting an allocator to be passed in, so we'll fix that. Self-alloc, boom. What else? What else? What else? What else? No field named segments. Okay, so there we go. So here, we are iterating through segments items here. And so we just have to lock the mutex. M shared mutex lock. M shared mutex unlock. We defer that thing because we don't want to do it right now. We want to do it later. And then we can, instead of looking at M segments, we look at M shared segments. And shared segments here as well. And then everything else is fine. That should be fine. Expected type word timestamp generator shared. Got type double star. Oh, oops. No ampersand here because it's already a pointer. Silly. Okay. No text instructed line once a unit of app. So he needs to basically just lock the mutex for this whole thing. So WTM shared mutex lock. Oh, I guess this has to be like this. Oh, this is tricky. So my word timestamp map is like an optional thing here, which means that like we kind of like quickly just pull the thing out if it's there. But now if I were to do a like mutex lock and unlock here, how does that work? I guess I do this. If it exists, we lock the mutex. Yes, that looks reasonable. Then we say defer, check if it exists again, and then unlock. Yeah. Okay, which is kind of fucking annoying, but it's fine. That's gross. I would... Let's do something else. Let's do... If like we can just wrap it, lock something. Lock timestamp map. And we'll call this with app, which isn't really great, but it's fine. And then we can just do this here. Is that really any better? No, it's fine. We'll just leave it like that. It's a little ugly, but it's fine. We'll live. We will live. Then I believe in set snapshot, we should copy the thing out. Yeah, we clone it. So we don't need to worry about like memory being invalidated after this line. After this line, the memory is copied out. It's living over there. He's happy. Okay. Which kind of makes me think that, oh, I was going to say I think it works, but it doesn't work. No field name text because this is now under shared text. Intentionally, to make it obvious to us when we use it. To make it obvious that we have to lock a mutex. Well, we're adding an accessor that locks and returns the text. The problem with that is you have to keep it locked for the whole time you have a reference to the text. Because if you return the text, you're actually just returning a pointer to the text. So if you were to make that accessor, you would have to clone the text on the way out, which is silly because we're going to clone it immediately again afterwards when we set the snapshot. You know? Someone doesn't like that there's a try. This is in word timestamp generator. 200. Oh, it's because we need to return errors from here. Which I don't actually know what happens. Defer if blah 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 is valid, no curly's needed. Oh yeah, that's fair. I miss it was a pointer. Yeah, slices in this language are basically pointers, I think. What is it complaining about? Word timestamp generator 257. I think they're kind of more analogous to fat pointers. They have like a pointer and a length associated with them. Shared text items laying. Shared sample text. Oh. Text is now... Oh, yeah, no, items len, text. Shared sample text len. Yeah, what's the problem? No field sample in shared. Oh, that's why. It's because the sample is not in the shared data. That would do it. One more. This is mad at word timestamp generator 27. Here. Self text dinit. Oops. Oopies. Which means we don't have to pass in this allocator here, actually. Which means that over here we don't have to pass in this allocator. And we should be good. Should be good. Okay. Let's see. So if everything works, like there's a good chance here that when we launch, we'll just see the text kind of growing over time.
Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back, everybody.
Okay.
Today we're...
It all came in at once there, which is kind of weird.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back,
Oh, no,
everybody.
okay.
Today
It's coming
we're
in
working-
chunks, which makes sense because we are feeding it in chunks. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it looks like this scanning is still working. Oops, out of bounds access there. So that's a little annoying. We are going to have to fix that. Crash on out of bounds, click in script. Had a busy week, but managed to catch stream today. Made a bunch of progress from what I saw. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress, which is good. It feels good. Feels good to make progress. So this is at 687. Maybe we'll fix that later. We'll fix that in a second.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back, everybody. Trying to work on...
It does look like this is kind of working. Feels good. Yeah, okay. Okay. Generate script in thread. So that should make it... I think that's like the biggest blocker to launching this with a longer video. So let's try and see if that works. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Oopsies. I need to put a space or escape the space.
Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that feels good. And I wonder if I click somewhere in here, like, do I see it jump there? So if I click on, like, just here.
Back, everybody. Today we're working on my video editor.
No, why is that not working? Does it work when I click here?
And the topic for today is trying to work on...
Oh, fuck. It's because I'm using the drag event, and the scroll area is also using the drag event. So I need to prevent the scroll area from doing that. So then let's also look at, I think that's like a small enough thing that we shouldn't need a section for it. What is generating this transcript? We're using, whisper.cpp, which is a kind of like, rehabilitation is the wrong word. I should say a port of the Whisper model that uses Torch, from OpenAI to something that we can just like compile in C++. But yeah, it works pretty good. I'm using like the shittiest model they have because I'm more worried about like speed than like accuracy right now. As long as it's like good enough, then like if it gets a few words wrong, I don't really care, right? It's more like I just want it to go as fast as we can. So I'm using like the tiny quantized model. Okay, so I think the scroll area in eGUI is like detecting us dragging on top, and that's making it so that if there's enough text in there that it scrolls, it won't notice me clicking because I'm using the same drag event. So I think that if I go into the eGUI docs for scroll area, I'm hoping that there's a way to just disable that. Drag to scroll. If true, we'll send strikes. Okay, so if I just say drag to scroll false, does that fix it? Does that fix it? That'd be sick if it did.
Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, let's pause, and there we go. Now it's working. Sick. So if I come down here and I click on like words,
words.
okay, wait, that's not bad. Okay,
And with our...
Yeah, nice. Okay, so it looks like that's kind of working, and as we're going, it's generating pretty fucking slow
stuff we're eating.
So this could be kind of limiting, but I'm hoping that if we kind of get our caching stuff done, then it'll be okay. And then how did I reproduce that crash? Here, I just kind of dragged out the at the side. So let's fix that. Let's fix that. So this is at librs 687. 687. So that's just here. How is that happening? While call is less than glyphs len. 687. Oh, it's here. So here we're accessing galley rows, the rows of the laid out text, and this row should be clamped Fuck. Dude, I get this wrong every goddamn time. When I say, like, I want the maximum of A and B, I type max A. No, I want, sorry, this is wrong. I want C to be I want B to be no larger than A. That's what I'm thinking. So I think the maximum value of B is A, right? So then I type max AB, and that's just like fucking backwards. Every goddamn, it should be min, right? So I'm surprised that this was working at all. That's crazy. Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Okay, let's try again. Okay, so no more crashing when I'm out of bounds. And then if I click like here.
Dilly-dally more.
Yeah, that's working. Opening. Right.
Then I can
through
and find the thing you want.
Oh, maybe it feels like a lot more accurate now, actually. Trying
to work on a little.
Oh, that actually feels so much better. Blah. Textbook
and read through.
Oh, that actually sounds just like, it's just way more fucking accurate now. Something
where I can.
That's so funny. So when I was testing it before, it was just like kind of wrong sometimes, and I'm like, cheap shop, oh well. Messages
in chat.
Oh yeah, that's actually like super fucking accurate. That's so sick. That's actually so cool. Okay. Good fix. Oopsies. Okay, so now I want the ability to like close this, which we can't do right now because it's trying to join that thread. So let's look at Graceful Shutdown. Graceful Shutdown. So I guess every loop that we're running in initialization, so that's the two threads, the audio like timeline generation thread and this like subtitle generation thread, they need to have some way of shutting down. Which means that we can go into our like word timestamp generator and init thread, he just needs to, I guess, do we want it to be in the shared data or should we just pass in an atomic bool to shut down? An atomic bool seems reasonable. So I guess we'll just kind of here say while not shut down, and I can't remember, I think it's going to be like read stood built-in ordering atomic order relax unordered. I think this is what I want, which means that shutdown here is going to be a pointer to an atomic bool. That should go in shared. It'll go in shared. It belongs there. We're sharing the data between both the both threads, and I guess we will just kind of note on it that since it's an atomic, we don't need to lock the mutex. So we'll say shutdown is a stood atomic value. Yeah, that's what it is. I'll just note no mutex lock necessary, which is fine. I think it will be clear as soon as you see the words like ordering on this thing, it's pretty reasonable to be like, okay, no mutex. Does whisper punctuation seem good enough for you to plan to detect breaks manually somehow? I'm kind of thinking more that I'll just use time, right? If there's a large gap between words, like that, for example, then we can just say that it's time for a line break. If it line breaks too aggressively, maybe that's fine. Maybe I'll throw in a like slider or something that lets me like tune the threshold. But I think time makes more sense than punctuation to me. Because like you could end a sentence and not want to line break, right? Like that's how paragraphs work. It seems more like a natural thing to break on is when there's like a gap in the data. I guess also when you read, like you don't have to pause to think of words. So I'm not really sure. We'll see. We'll play around with it. In our shared data, shutdown has to be stood atomic value bool initialize with false, and then down here we just say self shutdown or shared shutdown store true with stood built-in atomic order unordered. We don't care about the other memory, we just care about the variable itself. So unordered means Don't worry about its ordering relative to other things in this thread. Okay, so now we have while not shared shutdown read acquire load. Nice. Unordered. Yep. Yeah, you just had 2 long pauses trying to think about how to place a thought mid-sentence, which you probably wouldn't want to break on. Yeah, I don't know. Because I think that there's probably something nice about having like visual breaks along with the audio breaks as well. Because like naturally when you are kind of like working with I can't fuck. Hold on. 294. Hold on, one sec.
Yo,
like naturally when you're looking at the audio waveform, like you are kind of like grabbing sections that are kind of like with the gaps, right? So the gaps kind of lining up on both audio and visually might make sense, because then I can look and say like, oh, there's a gap in the center of this sentence that I want, so when I know that I'm selecting, I know to go over that gap kind of thing. Like that would make sense to me, but we'll see how it feels over time. We will see. Okay, we need to give this same treatment to the audio renderer thread, who is doing the same shit. But I think that's simple. I think it's simple. They still have shared init data. It's the same shit. And this guy has samples and num samples, and now we will just give him an atomic bool. There we go. And then our init loop, we'll just have to give the same treatment. So he's gonna say while not or shared. What do we call here? Self-shared is what it looks like in here. Self-shared. Shutdown. Load with no atomic ordering. Atomic order unordered. And then before we join, we just say self shared shutdown store true with no atomic ordering. There we go. So if those 2 things work correctly, it should be straightforward. Fuck! It's never simple. I always forget. Shutdown is equal to stood atomic value, which wraps a bool and bool initialized with false. There we go. So if we did that right, then when we try to close,
yo, what's up?
Okay, it's not great.
What's up? Yo,
it probably depends where.
Yo, what's up?
I suspect we're waiting on the word generation thread. So let's take a closer look there and just see that we're like our loop is sanely quick. So we are looping the outer loop. Basically, we're trying to fill up some audio buffer to hit some desired buffer size of like 8 seconds. And probably, I bet you if we were to log where we are, we would notice that we're in here, this like actually running the Whisper model. Right? I bet you if we were to do stood debug print running Whisper. And then over here, we said finished running Whisper. I bet we will find that we will see that log until it quits.
Yo.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. So I was wrong.
Yo.
Yeah, okay. So maybe it's the other thread then. Maybe it's the other thread. I guess what we should do, we can easily figure out which thread it is by writing here defer stood debug print exiting Whisper thread. And then we can just do the same thing on the audio thread. Run and consume is what he's called. Let me just kind of slap this here. Let's see.
Yo.
Oopsies, I wrote the same thing twice. Exiting, this should be audio thread. Oops.
Yo.
Oh, interesting. So they're both not trying to exit for a long time. So that's kind of interesting. So who is calling d init? This is coming from main. So let's do a defer. Who defines that they want to shut down? The GUI says, hey, it's shutdown time now, please. And the app over here should get like a close request on shutdown. So on GUI action close here, we should say std debug print GUI close requested. I wonder who is taking a long time here. Because this at least bisects if it's like the GUI is not even sending anything to us. Okay, so GUI close requested, and then it takes forever to actually shut down. That's very strange. Very strange. So what happens here? Apply GUI actions, we return true. Then we immediately break out of this loop. So this run should be done, which means that main loop should basically be done here. Okay. So we can do something like defer std debug print main loop exit. And I want to do that after GUI close here so that we know that if we're sending a message over to the GUI thread, if that's taking a long time for some reason, then we catch that. But I don't think it should be like that. Yo, what's up? Yeah, so the main loop is exiting like actually like fucking immediately. So what happens here? We run our GUI run here. We run our main thread. And so the GUI blocks until it's finished. So here we can say joining, I guess here we should say destructing. It could be that one of the many d inits is taking a long time. That seems possible. Seems possible. Ah, okay. So that's a good clue. So actually, we can see that it's kind of a long time between exiting whisper thread and destructing. Which is kind of interesting because exiting whisper thread is one of the first things it tries to run. Exiting, shutting down whisper. He doesn't like that because I forgot to maybe a new line and put these things in here. Santarella, good to have you. Good to have you. Happy to have you live. Linking time? He's linking. He's linking.
Yo,
okay.
What's up?
Yeah, okay. So it is something about like we do this shutdown here. We store this atomic boolean as true. And then both threads, I guess, are taking a while to finish. Oh, wait, hold on. It's that the audio thread exits instantly, but it's blocked on trying to exit until the whisper thread starts to exit. So it's something like it's because we're going in this order, right? We say like we construct like audio widget, then we construct whisper, then we like run GUI over here, and then once the GUI finishes running, we go in like reverse order where we destruct whisper and we destruct app. So that's why it looked like these two things were finishing at the same time, but it's actually because this guy was just exiting really fast and this whisper thread exit is slow. That makes a lot more sense. I just got a little confused before we got there. Okay, so this should be as simple as I'm glad you're optimizing for this. I hate when apps hang while trying to close. It just pisses me off when stuff is slow. Like in general, like if I make something that is slow, I would never use it. So I just have to fix it. It's just the way it goes. Because I don't like being pissed off. That's why I write software. Okay, so interestingly though, we logged around this whisper next, and that wasn't the problem. But this shouldn't be the problem either, because sampling should be pretty quick as well. Am I high? Yeah, like if we reduce the buffer size down to like 2, does that make this problem a lot better? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Speaking of things pissing me off when they're slow, what's it doing? Yeah, I bet you dirt grep.
Yo, what's up?
On. Yes, that didn't really feel like it helped. Let's try that again.
What's up, what's up? Yo, what's up, what's up?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on there? What the fuck is going on there? Okay, so I guess we should just figure out where we are. I guess we can just do this in GDB. Zig build and... Oh my god, dude. Grep. Hold on. I want to make sure. I want to look at my dirty cache again. Dirt memimpo. I just want like some form of grep dirty dash I dirty from proc meminfo watch. I just want to see like when the disk is slowing down if this is getting like really big again. I'm just trying to like slowly debug the fact that like sometimes things take a long time. It pisses me off, man. Pisses me off. Interestingly, it looks like this is growing while this is loading, so it could be something about like ripping through our video, our massive video file over and over again is actually like exacerbating our disk problems. Oh fuck, I forgot the breakpoint.
Yo,
I wanted to run this under GDB. I just forgot. Okay.
Yo,
so here I just want to
welcome back, everybody.
hit close and then backtrace on thread apply all BT. Who is stuck where? Who is stuck where? So we're probably looking at GGML stuff. So this is the like neural network framework. Looks like they've kind of spawned their own threads. Where's like init thread? Init thread. So he's in Whisper Runner next. With Whisperful. Yeah, so it does look like we are just stuck in there. And I don't know if there's a way to avoid that. I don't know if there's a way to avoid this. Because if it's just like we're calling into this library and he is just taking time, then like what are we going to do? Because we kind of need to feed him a certain amount of data at once. Why call dalex and dinit uselessly when you're just going to drop the process at the end? It's a good question. It's a good question. If I were to just lock the mutex and save... If I were to just save the stuff, yeah, why bother? I mean, Valgrind will yell at me. Is really like the only reason I'm really thinking. That's like and it's just like I don't want false positives, but I could mark these as like intentional leaks. But the thread is still running, right? Like if I remember correctly, you end up with like zombie threads. Linux zombie threads. Like if you never join them, they just get like stuck there forever and just eat space on your system till the end of time. What are they? A zombie thread is a joinable thread which has been terminated. Oh, so I can just detach it though. I see. So I can just detach the init thread. Well, and then what? I can't free any of the data associated with that thread until it's gone. Which is just a Valgrind thing. It would be nice if we could just gracefully shut down, though. I would like to be able to do it. But you're right that if it is unavoidable, we can always just say fuck it. I guess even then, though, I don't want, like, to just be, like, churning CPU in the background, right? Say this problem was really bad, right? And this took, like, 25 seconds to shut down. Then we would be just grinding CPU in the background after we close for like 20 seconds. And that's not really great either, right? It would be nice if we get out of it. Let's look at the very least, let's just look. Let's see whisper.h. Maybe it's good in release. Whisper is compiled in release mode no matter what, so it shouldn't make a difference. Whisper full runs the entire model. Like, it's possible we could run Whisper full parallel. That might help. Whisper full with state. Processes each chunk separately using Whisper full with state. Okay, wait. There's something there, probably, where you could probably get crazy and kind of like do the whisper processing itself, you could do the whisper processing itself like piecewise, right? Like they have this full thing, but they also, it sounds like, have some other way of running it. But I don't really want to look into that too much right now. Not too much. Let's try just running whisper full parallel, just so that it will get through things faster. That will help us speed up our generation anyways. Eventually, we are going to want to speed up our generation completely. So I think, like somebody asked earlier, like, are you ever going to run on the GPU? And it seems like that is like a very real action that we might want to take. So let's just for now, we'll run parallel mode. And we'll try to like limit the amount of data we're feeding it at any given time. And then just kind of hope that that's good enough. And I'll note that I am annoyed, and we'll come back to this later. So this, I think they just said that I want to throw in one more parameter at the end, which is just the number of processors. So we'll just say 4 processors, please. Okay. Okay. Sure, fuck it, good enough. Good enough. And then we'll just leave the buff size at like... It didn't feel like the problem was any better with a shorter buffer size, to be honest. It might be that there's like cost to that. I don't really know. But let's just zig build. And we'll just...
What's up? Welcome, everybody.
Oh, that's interesting.
Today we're working...
This feels a lot shittier now, actually. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why does that feel so much worse? It wasn't even generating the stuff.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Today we're...
Yeah, that was really odd. Very odd. Okay, whatever. It is fine for now. It's fine for now. Not the end of the world. Actually, I just want to check. So if I close this... Why does the window stay open? At the very least, I want the window to go away, because then it would feel a lot better. And I feel like it should go away. I don't really understand why it doesn't. Because this GUI close, GUI free happens here. What does GUI free do? Is GUI free where we exit and we... What am I looking for? librs GUI run. Yeah, it seems like this should just be like fully done by the time this function ends. So I guess maybe like the window handler, probably what happens is Ephraim is doing what you guys were suggesting, where he's like spotting a window and just never shutting it down and letting the OS deal with it, and the OS doesn't deal with it until all this other stuff happens. Okay, fine. We'll leave it as it is, but I will note to myself that I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it, and we will come back. We will come back. But sometimes you just have to, you know, you have to work with what you got, and sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look at caching the script in the save file. So if we have generated 10% of the file, we should continue on from that 10%. Which means that on exit, we need to do something like save... I guess we need like timestamp of last generated text. It's kind of even simpler than that. We just want like number of audio samples processed. That way when we restart, we can just say like while frame is less than the number of samples with some like accumulator, then just like do nothing. Continue. Right? So all we need to do is just store how many samples that we've stored. We also need to keep track of which file this save is for, because right now we're not really doing that, but if we are to start like regenerating, we need to make sure that we're regenerating for the same file. And yeah, I guess that's it. Maybe this can help. Examples are in Python, but something. I am curious now. Stop transcription process. You can pass state variable to new segment callback user data to stop transcription for the next one. Ooh. New segment callback. Ah. Wait, okay, wait. You've piqued my interest. You've piqued my interest. So he says new segment callback is this thing, and what is he doing here? So if running progress emit let's see. So if we look at vendor whisper CPP whisper H, what was the new segment callback? So he can't return anything. So I'm missing how it actually stops. Stop self-state running equals false. But there's no way to like request that this thing ends unless whisper context has like a function, like a way for me to request that he stops. That's possible. Very possible. Because yeah, this guy's setting like self-running is false, right? But then like it just doesn't actually do anything. Like whatever self-progress is, yeah, this is like his own thing. So he's saying like, I will emit some progress, but then like this thing's still running. It just won't propagate to the rest of his app. You know? So maybe this isn't what I want. Maybe not. Okay, let's look at vendor whisper CPV. We can look at whisper context. Struct whisper context. What is in here? Yeah, I don't really. I'm not convinced. Not convinced. Okay, unless whisper state has it in here. Struct whisper state. Yeah. Okay, I give up. We're giving up. Not worth it. Not worth it. Cache generated script and save file. We're going back. Yeah, okay, so what do we need? We need state, which video file this is for. We need how many samples we've processed. Store the sample length too, just in case you want to change the sample length at some point. But the same video should have the same sample width. So I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Which videos for, as well as the text that we've generated, and the segment timestamps. We need to store all of these things so that we can read them back later. Which I think is fine. I think it is fine. Usually, when I do stuff like this, I try not to propagate, like, the JSON-ness around too much, right? Like, I would prefer that the whisper struct doesn't know that it's saving JSON, just that it has like a way to like create and restore snapshots. And I was gonna say I don't want to do that, but it's possible that with Zig that becomes very easy because of their compile time reflection. Like it's possible that's very easy. So I'm a little bit curious about what that would look like. Right, so we could do something like pub const snapshot is equal to this thing, right? and he just has segments, text. That's it. And then I could do something like automatically walk these guys, but that sounds like hell. That actually sounds like hell. For now we'll just let him know he's JSON. That's fine. That's fine. So we'll do something like serialize. And he's going to have to take in like a JSON writer. So we're going to have like our JSON is going to have what we have right now, which is clips, right? Which is an array of like start and end times. And then we're just also going to have other stuff in here, like whisper. I guess we'll call this like word timestamps, word script generator, maybe we'll call it. That's probably a better word for word timestamp. I think it has like a write struct function, but then it writes it like with defined memory layouts packed in extra structs. Yeah, I think I'd rather not do that either. What's gonna go in here? He's gonna have script generator, and he's gonna be like text, which is just gonna be a string, and segment timestamps, which is gonna be our array of object with start, like whatever's in here. Right, it's just gonna be this. Okay. So great. We are just gonna have to write serializers and deserializers for all of this shit. Very, very fun. But it's gotta get done. Gotta get done. So what I'm thinking is we're gonna kind of like, and before we call serialize, we'll like we'll open this object and then we'll close this object when we start. So from his perspective, no, we won't even open and close the object. From his perspective, he is writing out an object that represents himself. So we'll call like object key script generator, and then afterwards we'll just call serialize or whisper serialize writer or something, you know, and then he'll handle the open and closing braces. Okay. Stood JSON write stream. I guess we'll just call him any type. We'll call him any type. Oh, that's kind of fun. That makes this like kind of generic, kind of maybe a little bit. No, not really. But a little. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not. Okay. Zig, JSON, and where is our writer interface? JSON write stream. All right, begin object. Serializer, begin object. Serializer, and object. These have to be try because they are writing to some file that might fail, which means this has to have an error. And then we are going to do try serializer, what is it? Object key, object field. See write stream for when to call this method. Are we not in write stream? We are in write stream. Oh, this is JSON stringify write stream. It's this one. Is the one we want. Object field. See write stream for when to call this method. We are in write stream. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Key is the string content of the property name. Surrounding quotes will be added and any special characters will be escaped. See also object field raw. Okay, so this will be object field with text. And then we'll like do some shit. And then we'll do another one, object field segment timestamps. And we'll do some other shit. Seems straightforward. The text is just what is it? Object value? How do I set the content? Oh, I just write it out. I think I just write. Std JSON will call methods JSON parse and JSON stringify if available in public. JSON parse. Ooh. So if I have... Doesn't look like a lot of these guys. JSON parse from value. Look at inner parse. Inner parse. There's an internal function called recursively, blah, blah, blah. But inside him, on a struct, if it has function JSON parse, then he will call that function's JSON parse. I see. I see. But like the standard library types don't have this like everywhere. Right, like there's no like arrayless JSON parse or anything like that. They do have value JSON parse. What does a JSON value look like? So I could make a... Yeah, so I'd have to cast everything to values, which might be easier. I'm not really convinced that that's any easier than just serializing it directly. Not really convinced. Okay, so here we will write the text as our value, which is just self-shared text, which kind of indicates that here we need to lock the mutex. And unlock it. You know, do a little double whammy. Okay, so we get the text, and then we have the segments timestamps. This part's a little harder. We have to basically, I guess, yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but it's fine. We will take ourselves, and I guess you're kind of saying that I should just implement JSON stringify on these. How does this work? So he takes on this, and then JWS. What the fuck is JWS? Ah, I see. So then I can just call write with the thing. So if I call like write, oopsies, JSON, wait, JSON, fuck, write stream from JSON. If I call write on this guy, I guess he's going to call that thing eventually. Oh, this is kind of interesting too. If I call write on a struct, he's going to iterate the fields. Oh wait, that's actually sick. Wait, that's crazy. So he already knows. I get, oh, but he's not going, so if I just put in the items, it might actually just do what I want. It might. We might as well try it. We might as well try it. So we might just be able to do shared segments items. Oh, and I guess it should be text items as well. These might work. Okay, so I guess how do we test this? We test this by, for now, we can just run on, before we d'init this guy, let's just serialize him to standard out or something. Like W serialize serializer, and then we just have to make a serializer. So can I like make a write stream around std to standard out? I think it's like std io std get std out writer. So then this is a std out writer is this. Then we have std JSON write stream around our std out writer. So const or var serializer probably is equal to this, and then we serialize with the serializer. And if we're lucky, it'll work. Expected 2 arguments, found 1. Fine. Fine. We will fill in your thing that you want, if you really want us to, I guess. Really? White space is not just a number? Oh, okay. Okay. Error is ignored. You know what? You can't make me parse the error. You can make me say that I won't parse the error, but you can't make me do it.
What's up,
Okay.
what's up?
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, that's super simple. Wow. That's sick. I didn't expect it to do that for me. Yeah, that's super easy. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. That's cool. Thanks for pointing that out, 2-step. That's pretty cool. Makes my life way easier. Okay, so now we have a serialized thing on this. We already kind of have our like save file that we're kind of parsing around, but we kind of give it explicitly to the clip manager with the assumption that he's the only person who will use it, but that's just no longer true. So this save guy here, he needs to, instead of saving to this file, he needs to be like a serialized function. And the app itself is the guy who's going to own the save, the actual file we're saving to now. So here, I guess we'll just say save path is some path. When we call, I guess we're going to have some sort of like save function on here. And so I think we actually have somewhere we're calling save already. So clip manager save. Here we'll just say try self.save instead. And then we need some sort of function for save. Function save takes in self app. And I guess he's failable in some way. He's going to do this, where he creates the file and then creates the JSON serializer. But then he's going to call self refs clip manager save serialize. I guess we will rename this serialize, and we will pass in the output. I guess maybe we'll call this the serializer to be consistent with our other naming in the other spot. And then I think also we want to start with an object. So we'll say try serializer begin object and end object. And then before we serialize the clip manager, I guess we will just say that we have some like object field clips. And then this guy just turns into serialize here. And he takes in output as any type. Okay. Okay. And now that we have this, then we can tack on the other stuff. So we can say that we also want to ask the word timestamp map to serialize the serializer. What we want to call this, whatever the fuck we said we were going to call it. We said we were going to call it script generator. Yeah. Okay. Zig build? Not quite. It's a hard life. 37 on app. We need to take in the path. Save path equals save path, which I guess kind of also indicates that we shouldn't save the save path over here on the clip thing. Okay. So all of this goes away. We have this test here to make sure that we can create the file as writable, so we should do that. And it does look like we also are going to try to load this thing at some point. No, do we not? I thought we did. Maybe that's unimplemented. No, where the fuck does it load? Oh, here, parse clips JSON. I just can't read because I was looking for the word load, but it's not the word load. It's load parse clips JSON. So it kind of indicates that here, he's actually going to want to take in some sort of like JSON deserializer. But for now, we just won't implement loading. We'll just kind of like comment this part out. And come back to it. We will come back to it. So for now, we will just not load the previous clip list. Get fucked. Get fucked anyone who's trying to save. You know? Sure. Okay, so this stuff now goes over here somewhere. At the very least, we can still validate the file is writable. That makes sense. Save path has to be passed in here. Okay. And then in main, we should now have all the pieces that we need. So app init, wherever the fuck that is. The fuck? App refs goes to the main loop. The main loop just calls app init here. So we need like save path, I guess. Which doesn't really like match with anything else, but that's okay. I guess you could argue that we're referencing a save path. So it should live in like our references. What is in here? Alec. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Why not? Why not? And then here, we don't need to store the save path anymore because we already have a reference to it. That means that here it should be self-refs save path. Yeah, okay, sure. Sure, why the fuck not? And this is args output. Okay. Yeah, that might work. Might work, might not. Who fucking knows? Clip manager at 108 still is trying to use save path because I didn't save. It's a hard life. Clip manager expected 1 argument, got 2. Because I don't need this anymore. Okay. Error is ignored at 126 in app. 126 here. Try, fine. Try, fine. Fine if we were going to make us. Begin object is not in this shit show. Why not? 147. So he's trying to say begin object. Begin object. Yeah. Why is he unhappy? Of course begin object exists. No field or member function named begin object and stood in JSON stringify write stream that has this generic writer, which has all this other shit. But it does. I mean, obviously it doesn't, but it does. I guess because it's like, maybe because it's a pointer? Like, is it mad because I put a reference here? $131 in clip manager. Output is any type. I'm so lost. I'm so confused. Oh, it's because I put another ampersand over here somewhere, maybe? Like, maybe these guys aren't supposed to be ampersands anymore? Does that make this all make more sense? That does make it all make more sense. Okay. Okay, and then here we can only serialize if it exists. So we'll say if this. And then we say, please take my pointer. And I guess we only will actually put this field in if this exists. Or we just write an empty object. I think that probably makes more sense. So can I just be like serializer write like void? Is it smart enough to figure that out? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Did I go to college? Yep. I went to university for programming a long time ago. Long time ago. By some metric of long time ago. He doesn't like this. He says that doesn't exist. But it clearly does, because I'm jumping to it. So what the fuck is it bitching about? No field in... Do I need to, like, manually dereference that? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, because he's already a pointer or something, so I'm double pointering. Don't think write void is necessary. Oh, it'll just automatically close it when I end the object. That also makes sense to me. No, I don't think so. We'll see. Error's ignored. I'm not convinced that that's right, but it's easy to find out, so we will find out. Okay, so let's say we load this thing.
What's up?
Let's pause it. Let's make a couple clips, and then save, and then close. And then let's look at what we got out. So we do have our clips here. They look okay. We have our script generator here. And he looks okay too. Okay, so now let's test the case where we skip... I can't remember again. Skip subtitles.
Yo,
Let's see what happens in this case.
Welcome back, everyone.
Boom, boom, boom. Save. So he segfaults because I reached unreachable code. So I expect that that's because the unreachable code is in this else. I assume that this is serialized or... Right, nothing. Because he's probably... I'm almost positive that this unreachable is going to be in end object. Almost certainly. Somewhere in here, like, if we're not at the right spot, he's gonna be like, that's unreachable. We're almost certainly hitting this. Almost certainly. He doesn't like that, though, because I forgot to write try again. Do you need math for programming? You need, like, to be able to think like math. But, like, I think it depends, right? Like, you don't need to be able to do calculus for all programs. But if you're asking, like, do you think it's bullshit that they make me get a math degree or, like, take a math class in my programming degree? I was like, I don't know, that's great. Like, you should be able to, like, the logic is, like, the same, you know? You know? Do I just write begin object, end object so that I get, like, an empty thing? Is that what I want? Or maybe null makes sense. Null does make sense. There's nothing here. We have a thing, it's null. That does seem kind of like JavaScript-y, JSON-y.
Yo, what's up?
Okay, let's look again. Okay, yeah, that feels okay. Script generator null. Seems fine. Is there a point where you stop referencing old code and just start remembering how to build things out? I don't know. It's been a long time. I've been coding for a long time. I feel like referencing things is useful for sure, but it's definitely not like my go-to all the time. But like when I'm working with something unfamiliar, I'm still looking at examples, right? Like when we started this project, we went through this, like, we pulled this guy up and we worked through kind of this whole thing, understanding where we went, but like we still needed to reference something to remember, right? Your memory is only as good as it has to be. And so like often you'll be using like autocomplete to help you give you context clues. Often you're using examples to give you context clues. So there's just like things that you use often will become straightforward, and things that you don't use often is fine to look up. I think is like how I feel about it. I don't know. It depends. Everything always depends. Okay. So what else did we want to save in our output here? We wanted to save the amount of stuff that we've currently serialized. So we need like we need num samples processed. And then here we also wanted to save the name of the file we're looking at. Yeah. Those things sound reasonable to me. Okay. So num samples processed. We need to save that somewhere. So our shared data is going to have num samples processed. And I guess it's just going to be every time we run through Whisper, we're going to have pushed some amount of samples. It's going to be consistent, right? Because we have one audio buff that is 8 seconds of data. So it's just going to be audio or buff size S times the number of samples per second, which is Whisper sample rate. In fact, this 16,000 over here should also say Whisper sample rate. And then we just say that the shared dot num samples process is plus or equal to this. Simple. Simple. How's it been using eGroup from Zig? It's honestly not that bad. Not that bad at all. Like, we've been having some pain, I think, from the Rust GUI kind of just having like a large amount of data in it, right? Like when I build, the GUI library is like 150 megs. But other than that, I already architected all of my GUIs that way anyways, right? Like the idea of having a separate GUI thread and having messages that go back and forth between the GUI thread and the main thread, I already did that because I don't want like my any real work to block GUI rendering ever. So it's the exact same thing as using like a channel between two threads, except you just do it through the CFFI. And getting this set up was a bit of a pain in the ass. Definitely the most painful part was making OpenGL bindings so that we could render widgets from Zig in OpenGL. But like the actual like interface with the GUI is like not too bad. It was like bindgen. We had to set up bindgen on the Rust side. But otherwise, it wasn't too bad at all. Not too bad at all. If you're already familiar with Rust FFI, of course. Of course. Okay. So now we need to resume from where we left off. So I guess we'll do something like on initialization. Do I think it makes sense to do it here? Where I pass in like a JSON deserializer object or a JSON value that represents our serialized state. That's one option. And what does that look like? Well, first let's git add-u. Git commit-m. So that would be like in main. Before we construct what is this thing called? Whisper. We would kind of like here, we would pass in like what would we call it? Snapshot or something, right? And it feels kind of weird for it to be there because the serialization code is so far away. The serialization code lives in like app save. So he knows this stuff. So I guess you could make this stuff live close to each other if you moved this into its own module. Is that what I want? Not necessarily. Just trying to think where this stuff should live. I guess we can write it and then figure it out later. Figure it out later. So I guess, yeah, I'll just do it for now. So let's just try passing in on initialization some initial state as a stood JSON value, which I'm not like the biggest fan of, but it's something to get us going. Then in main, we are basically gonna say that we're gonna open the input file. So kind of like this check here kind of ends up over here somewhere. And what happens? What happens? we do a stood JSON reader from this file. And then if I remember correctly, you have to, there's like a high level parser that we can get out of this. So zig standard lib. Captain Off, thanks, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Nice of you to say. Okay, so JSON. Stood JSON. One of the many things we can do is we can like get a value from something. So value JSON parse from, I think the source is probably the reader. Parse from value. Parse from slice. I can never remember. I did this somewhere else. In the clip manager, I got a value out of this thing. Parse from token source. Okay, this looks like what I want. So stood JSON parse from token source. I say I want to make a stood JSON value, which is this like nested type of everything I want. Then I pass in this shit. And then here I should have like I guess here const save data is equal to this. And then I have to like switch save data to pull out the object. Why did you use Rust language for this project? I actually chose Zig more, but Rust as well. I mean, I just, because I like it. It's about the extent of it. I'm using Rust and eGUI because eGUI gives me access to like pre-laid out text in a way that other GUI frameworks I looked at didn't. If I wasn't using eGUI, I wouldn't be using Rust right now. And I picked Zig because I like using Zig right now. It doesn't have to be more complex than that. Okay, so this gives me JSON value. And in here, I just want to say this thing should be an object map, or an object. So how do I have to do this? Like switch on this thing, and if I get an object O, then like do something with the object? Or can I do like if save data is not equal to object? Like, is that allowed? Does that compile? Unused function parameter. Oops, it's fine. Let's go over to word timestamp generator and just equals initial state for now, just to give us something to work with. Save path is not in the struct args. Oh, because it's called output here. Oops. Output. Oops. Reader. Expected 2 arguments. What are my 2 arguments here? Allocator and the IO reader. Ah, okay, sure. FS file has no member named error. Oh, because this would be reader. Okay, so he's not letting me do this. Oh, because I didn't write try though. Maybe if I write try, he will let me do it. Yeah, okay. So here he's saying that I can't look at this thing. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on, save data value. What is the other thing in here? What does this parse from token source give me? It gives me a parsed thing, which has a value and a read for dnet, right? Of course. Of course, we have to dnet this thing. And then we need to, oh my god, so many minor compilation errors to fix. So many. We'll just put save data here now, but we have to fix that later. Just give him a sec, he's gotta think. Okay. Num samples process. Fuck, there's so many compile errors. Why? Why do I always have so many? Why can't I just write it right the first time? Okay, wait, so that's pretty sick. I didn't know you could do this. This is a really good optimization for me. So here I can just say, if the save data value is not an object, we just return error invalid save, I guess. And then we say stood log error save file did not match expect. Save file is not a JSON object. That's fine. Good enough for me for now. Because now I can just say save data value JSON or object. Then I can just use it like it's an object. And I can just ask it to get the thing at whatever we called it. This is going to have to like live somewhere a little closer later, but for now we'll just write script generator. And this will return an optional thing. So we'll say const word timestamp map save is equal to this. There's a lot of misnamed things around here, and we're going to have to deal with that eventually, but that's okay. And then we'll just say or else here, no script generator. We'll say script generator field missing. Yep. Missing from save. Okay. It's fine. Which means that here we should just be able to pass in the WTM save like this. Okay, cool. Looks like everything's piped where it needs to be. And now when we initialize this guy, our word timestamp generator. What just happened here? Why is this? Now over here, we just need to do something with this. So what do we do with it? What do we do with it? We are expecting this stuff. So function, I guess this is all coming from the shared data. So we kind of want like function shared. Maybe this comes like on shared. Like here we say like function init, and oh god, I don't know, man. I don't know. Initial data. No, I don't really like it there. I want it here. Function deserialize. I don't know. Init from shared from initial data. Shared from JSON. Okay, that feels the best. That feels the best. But none of it feels great. But it's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, so if value is equal to null, which isn't how this works. If value is equal to dot null, then it will work. We just return whatever we were doing before. I guess this has to return a pointer to shared? No. Nah, it will return this. Okay. We return this. And then here we need to do like, we have some segments and we need some allocator. Okay. Cool. If it's not equal to null, then we have to populate this stuff. Which I need to figure out how to do. So value dot get. Okay, so it's not an object. If value is not equal to dot object, we have a problem. Which kind of means that this thing can fail. This is going to say std log error whisper data not object. Okay. Return error invalid save. Invalid save. Then we can use this thing as an object. We can say, hey, I want the text field. Or else no text in whisper save. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay, this is starting to feel okay. And then here we're going to say save text is equal to this. We're going to stick that save text in our output. So what is this thing? This should be like I'm assuming that this is this is a JSON value. So this is going to be text JSON. And then we're going to say if text JSON is not equal to a string. Yes, there we go. Text, we'll say saved text was not a string. Okay. Text JSON string is the what type there? This is a const 8. So then we will just shove this stuff into our array list. Text dot append slice text JSON string. Okay. 1 down, 1 to go. 1 down, 1 to go. So the other thing we, or 2 to go actually. 2 to go. So what else? We have num segment timestamps, which comes from value dot object get this. Yep. So we'll say const timestamps JSON is equal to this, or else stood log error saved timestamps no saved segments in whisper save. Okay, sure, fuck it. I don't know. Return error invalid save. For the guy in chat saying that Vim couldn't handle a large amount of C++, did you ever end up trying Clang D? Or I guess Clang D is the one now. Like, I also did like I used to use Vim and then went through the like C++ IDE circuit. But once language servers came around, then it kind of felt okay to come back. But it was pretty rough in that time. Dude, every single fucking C++ IDE sucks. Like, I tried every single one, and I didn't like any of them, but maybe it's just because I'm, like, easily frustrated. But, man, I just didn't like any of them. C-Line was pretty good. It choked for me on big projects, though. I don't know. They were all pretty bad. What did I use? Like, what was my main one for the longest time? I used Eclipse for a while. That also sucked. I can't even remember. I think I switched so much because every single one made me angry. I don't even know if I had one that I used for a long period. VS Code, I guess, was the best option, but that was at post language server. Okay. So I have these timestamps, and so now I want to figure out how to get like the inverse of this. So there must be some way. What was the there's JSON parse. JSON parse. So can I like from a JSON value, can I just say I want, can I just go back to a struct? JSON parse. It must be this, right? And then I just say, no, this is a source any type. Parse options. Type of source dot star. Or this. Is there no way for me to like get a object from a value? One way is called JSON inner parse. Inner parse. This is so confusing. So this guy is going to call like inner parse? No. Inner parse. Oh, here we go. Stood JSON inner parse. I see. Internal function. Okay, but who's he called by? Who is he called by? Parse from token source leaky. Parse from token source. But this is kind of like the low-level API, huh? Parse from value. This is the one I want. This is the one I want. So the input is already a parsed stood JSON value object. And I can then just say that I want this type to come out of it. Stood JSON parse from value. And I'm looking for a clip. No. I'm looking for a segment bounds. A bunch of segment bounds. That's what I'm looking for this. And I'm going to give you some allocator. and I'm going to give you some source, which is the value I'm working with, so timestamps JSON. And I'm gonna say, I don't give a fuck, just fucking figure it out. And then this is going to give me a parsed thing. How do I get the thing out of it? Oh, value, okay. So const timestamps, this. Slice, we'll call it, I guess. Defer timestamps parsed. Defer timestamps parsed d init. But before that, we do a segments append slice timestamps parsed value. Okay, that sounds right. That sounds right. CLine got faster. Yeah, I guess I tried it when it first came out, so I've got like a really biased, wrong perspective. Okay, and we have to do the same. Well, the last thing we have to parse out here is the num samples processed. So we should have there's something .get value object get num samples processed, or else we have no saved samples processed in whisper save. Num samples processed JSON is this, and then we need to say if num samples processed JSON is not an int, I think. Maybe. Maybe. Value. Where's my JSON value? Let's look. Integer. So if he's not a integer number, we've got problems. And the error is going to be num samples processed is not an integer. That's fine. Good int and then we should just be able to say num samples processed JSON dot integer, and we should be able to int cast this num samples processed usize do this, and I guess we should just validate I think it's stud math cast that will fail if it doesn't fit, or else stud log error invalid value for num samples processed. Man, it pisses me off when they make me handle all the errors, because then it makes me handle all the errors and it takes longer. But it's like, it's correct, but man, it's a lot of work. So this is mutex is equal to nothing. It's actually all the same here. Missing sturdy yet? I don't use sturdy either. I just live with the pain. Live with the pain. I guess I have used sturdy. I just don't like the idea of like using their macro system and like the way that like it infects your whole code base, and like every single struct gets like annotated with sturdy derive or deserialize and serialize. Like I don't like doing that. So then I kind of like try to abstract it away, and then I end up doing something that's like very similar to this anyways. Because you kind of want, even like if you were to use sturdy to deserialize this, you wouldn't get like a nice error like this, right? So you actually kind of have to do this anyways, because like your context is going to be like somewhat specific in some way. Maybe. Okay, now I just have to call this function. So we have to call. This is just shared is equal to shared from JSON using this alloc and initial state. Okay. Sturdy's been enough for me. Yeah, I mean, it's just like when it fails, it sucks. It's just like, yeah, I just don't like it. Like, I want more control than it. Maybe it gives me the control, I just don't want to learn it well enough. It integrates well. Yeah, but, like, I guess I have this like reasonable stance that like dependencies should never leak out of one module. And so Serde kind of flips that on its head. Right? Like I hate the idea of like a framework just like infecting my whole code base. Because if like at some point then you're like, I don't want to use Serde anymore, it becomes so hard to fix. Right? Where if you like contain it in one area and one day you're just like Serde broke, I don't want to use it anymore, I want to use something else. If it's all in one spot, then you can just like swap it out, which is like what I try to end up doing, what I try to do more often. But it means that I have to eat some upfront costs to do that. I'm never going back to the C++. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's like everything. Missing some. Error union. 357. Timestamps parse. This needs to be try, I guess. Stood math cast. Expected 2 arguments. Fine. Fine. I'll put the type in if that's what you want. You little whiner. Okay, so if we did everything right, which is unlikely, possible.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody.
When I hit save and then I close this, and then I open it again.
Yo, what's up?
Wait, no way.
Welcome back, everybody.
Save. So we were at maybe when I saved right here.
And the top.
Sorry, it was kind of loud in the background, huh?
Yo.
Wait, that's sick. It's actually resuming. And is it resuming at the right time? Because I've been like, wait, that's actually working, guys. What if we could? Oh no, wait, hold on. I don't think it's resuming. I think that like it's probably starting from scratch over and over again. But we're like it's like not how do I say this? I think it's displaying what we had before. But starting at the beginning again? Hold on, let's look at this. Something about this doesn't feel right. Something about this doesn't feel right.
What's up?
Shut the fuck up, me. Oh yeah, it's not. It's starting from the beginning again. See, so here we've got a little yo in the middle of the thing that's putting us at 0, 0, 0. So we need to make sure that it actually resumes from that point. Which means what? And this guy, we just basically need to initialize him, and when he, not this guy, sorry, the init thread. We just need to initialize our input resampler. So this guy needs to basically like consume enough frames here. Consume frames until num samples processed is hit. And probably on the output side, we also need to do something. The whisper content, this guy, he keeps track of how many like the start time. And we need to reinitialize that as well. Which means that we actually kind of have to write that down as well. We need to write down how many samples we processed. Oh no, wait, this is just deterministic. The start time is relative to how many samples we've fed in. Yeah. Yes. So, just as a stopgap, this is not the right place for these things to live, but I just want to get something that kind of works. So I think that it's on our init thread. Why not save the last frame? Because we need to like get the decoder into the state where it's at that frame, if that makes sense. Right? Like FFmpeg is like kind of spitting out like a bunch of these packages. Frame, and we're like taking each of these and like resampling them and feeding them into Whisper. And we're going like, okay, take this one, now this one, now this one, now this one, now this one. And he's spitting out like text. And so if we were to like write down one of these frames, that's not good enough because we actually need to like get like FFmpeg, the decoder, into the state where his like internal buffer is pointing at the frame that we want next, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. But we can make this work by sampler. What we can do is just sort of say for shared num samples processed. Is the resampler just discarding samples? Yeah, I didn't do anything but discard samples. I did like the stupidest thing where I just basically said, like I have some data at some sample frequency, right? So like, I guess we'll draw circles because those are easier for me to draw. And then like, I want to sample them at like this frequency. And all I did was like, look at the center of this blob and line it up here and say like, I'll look at this value. I'll look at this value. I'll look at this value. So like, this doesn't get looked at, this doesn't get looked at, this doesn't get looked at, right? It's just like whichever thing I happen to hit. Which is fine, right? Because if you think about, the reason I decided that was okay is because if you think about how this stuff actually works, right? Those look like dicks, bro. Come on, dude. Like, I'm all for things looking like penises, but you gotta get your head out of the fucking gutter. You think this? What does your dick look like? Like, it shouldn't look like this. If it looks like this, you got a problem. Anyways, if you look at, like, how the stuff is sampled originally, you've got, like, some amount of samples that are, like, indicating some sine wave, right? But each of these are missing a bunch of data in between here. So resampling at 16 kilohertz from 48 kilohertz, if I'm just taking less, if I'm just, like, discarding some of these, it's like we kind of discarded original data as well. So I think that it's okay to just discard more if you're at a lower sample rate. That was kind of like my justification for just like skipping the stuff in the middle here. But maybe it's not fine. Maybe it's not fine. So I think we can just basically rip through the number of samples that we processed before on init. It's not like the most efficient way of doing this, but that'll work. And then here, we're just going to say that our whisper start time milliseconds is just going to be sampler num samples, or the shared num samples processed times whisper sample rate, which is going to be, this is in seconds, so times 1,000. Wait, is that right? Divide by this. What unit is this in? This is in I64. So I guess we just do times 1,000 divided by whisper sample rate. And that should be right, I think. Num samples processed times 1,000 divided by whisper sample rate. I think so. I think so. Let's try. Error is ignored. Value is ignored. I don't need the value. Okay. Expected I64 found U size. So this is as I64 int cast. It's fine. It's fine. I64 comp time int. Oh my god, why? Like, why? Are you kidding me? That's not. Why is that a problem? Is it because he doesn't know that he's going into an I64? Like, whoa, fine. We'll just div trunk. I don't give a shit, man. I don't give a shit. Sure, we'll try that. Something bad happened? What the fuck? What is happening? It must be, this must be exiting out. Like if we did a catch here. Is that failing? No, what is happening? What is happening? Something is not right, and I don't understand why. Okay, let's just comment out this new code. Just to see, just to give us a clue. Does everything else work? Oh, wait. No. Are we... Is there no error log? Why the fuck not? There should be an error if we're erroring out. Because I'm pretty sure that, like, this thing just has nothing in it. Right? So our JSON parsing is going to go like, what the fuck? that's not, like, it should say that's not a reasonable file for me. Oh, which is what unexpected end of input is saying. Oh, okay. So our JSON parse in main, we basically just have to accept that that might not work. Right, this here, we have to say catch. And if this doesn't work, we need to return something. Or maybe we do it this way. So the save data, okay, we'll say WTM save is stood JSON value null. No? Is that not allowed? Yeah, it should be. So we have null. And if we manage to successfully parse some JSON value or save data, we do some stuff with it. Else, we say save file is not a JSON object, and we don't return an error. We just, or save file is not valid JSON, and we just do nothing. Then all of this stuff goes in here. Yup. Then we can assign this here. Oh, but now this defer can't go here because it's still being used here. So I don't know what to do about that, and so I'll just say for now, fix me init. And maybe this works now? Might. Fuck. Runtime type coercion from this shit to that shit. Oh, this should be a stood JSON value. Oh, I need to do like null? Is this how I do this? How do I initialize this thing? Am I high? How the fuck do I make one of these? Right, because I know that you could do like a bool equals 4 or true, right? Like, that feels reasonable to me. That compiles, right? But how come, like, null, do I have to do equals this? That's confusing.
Yo.
Okay, it does look like...
Up? Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, so now let's save. I saved it words, I think.
Yo.
And then we will see if we resumed at words. No, we came back at yo again. Fuck me. Why? Why? Is he high? Dude, I mean, I just always feel like I'm high. Oh, it's because I commented this shit out, of course. That's why, that would explain why it didn't work. It didn't work because the code isn't running. What do you want? I want it to run. But like, yeah, I guess fine. If it doesn't run, it doesn't run. Okay, so stream most is where I saved. And then here we have stream most, days around 2 o'clock Pacific time. And it looks like it is kind of continually moving forwards. Like, okay, so I think it works. We had, at 80, okay, we saved at this, at 119.93. Okay, let's see if we resume from there. A lot of stuff is leaking, I know. We'll get over it. So it was at I already forgot, 119 something? 119.93, I think I said. We're looking for the word the at 119.93, so right here. So waveform rendered on the, we ended yesterday.
Bottom, we ended that yesterday, where you can like seek through a video.
Yeah, okay, I think that's working. I'm pretty sure.
Audio waveform rendered on the bottom, we ended that yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's working. That feels pretty good. That's so sick. That's actually gonna be so good because like now at the very bottom we're at 367 save. Close. Wait for all of our leaks to yell at us. Oh my god, there's so many leaks.
Yo,
So many leaks. But I just want to see, now we are at like 384. That's going to be so helpful, right? Because now I can actually start working with this thing and let it continue generating in the background, and then I can come back. Yeah, that's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. Okay. 2 hours and 5 minutes. We didn't get quite as far as I wanted to, but we got pretty far. I think that's good progress for today. Good progress for the day. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna call it there. If you guys like what you saw, we stream most days at around 2 o'clock Pacific time for around 2 hours, so it's 4 o'clock Pacific time now. If you are watching live anytime between 2 hours ago and now, if you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna have to figure out when Pacific time is, but 2 o'clock Pacific time now, and there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. If you're new on Twitch, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description where we have all of our projects kind of organized by playlist. Right now we're working on this video editor, but, you know, we kind of work on whatever the fuck we feel like. And so you might see, like, operating system, terminal emulator, neural network, 3D engine, like, Git GUI, QR code decoder, zlib, like, lots of stuff in there. If you want to check that out, that's there. There's a GitHub link in the Twitch description as well, where you can check out the code for all of these things. What else? You gotta like, you gotta subscribe, you gotta use your Twitch primes. And yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna say bye to YouTube now, and Twitch viewers, let's figure out who to raid.